Welcome to Dollar Side Hustle, your go-to podcast for all things side hustle. Today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into making money with Uber Eats.
Yeah.
And this is, if you're a complete beginner thinking about maybe, dipping your toe into the world of food delivery,
Right.
this is for you.
Definitely.
So we've been combing through tons of, forum posts and articles and all sorts of things
Yeah, we've been going deep.
to try and understand what the earning potential really is and, just how to be successful at it.
Right.
What are the strategies that work?
Yeah, exactly. And I think we found some pretty interesting things along the way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the first things that jumped out at me was just the sheer range of, reported earnings.
Yeah.
You see some drivers who are like, oh, yeah, I'm making $40, $50 an hour during peak times.
Right. During COVID, especially.
And then you see others who are like, I'm barely making minimum wage,
Yeah.
in 2023.
Exactly. It's like, what's going on there?
Yeah, what's the deal?
Why is there such a big difference?
What are those people doing
Yeah.
that the other ones aren't?
I mean, I think part of it is definitely market saturation, right? There's just been a huge influx of drivers in recent years.
Right.
So there's just more competition for orders.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Supply and demand, right?
Exactly. Supply and demand.
More drivers, fewer orders per driver.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then there's the whole tip issue.
Right.
Like a lot of drivers are saying that tips make up a huge chunk of their income,
Oh, yeah.
which, can be great if you're getting good tips.
Sure.
But it also leads to this huge inconsistency
Right.
and frustration with non-tippers.
Oh, yeah. I bet you're at the mercy of the customer.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You never know what you're going to get.
And then there's that thing, I saw this guy from Vancouver was sharing his weekly log,
Oh, yeah.
and he was saying that his active delivery time, the time he was actually out on the road was significantly less than the number of hours he was online.
Right.
So there's all this waiting time
Yeah.
built in.
That downtime.
Yeah, and that's time you're not earning.
Exactly. And that's something that a lot of people don't think about when they're first starting out.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just think, oh, I'm going to work 5 hours. I'm going to make X amount.
Right. Exactly.
But it's not that straightforward.
No, it's not that simple.
And then there's this whole thing about the algorithm. A lot of drivers are convinced that
Oh, yeah. The algorithm.
the Uber algorithm is throttling their earnings once they hit a certain hourly rate.
Like they're being punished for being successful.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's a little bit creepy.
To think that there's this code that's controlling your income.
Right. And there's no transparency
Right.
about how it works.
Yeah, you're just kind of at the mercy of it.
Exactly.
So there's a lot to unpack there. But before we get into how to actually make money and specific strategies and tips and all that, let's talk about this honeymoon phase that I keep seeing mentioned.
Oh, yeah. The honeymoon phase.
So it seems like a lot of drivers are saying that when you first start out, your earnings are actually higher.
Right. Like you're getting all the good orders.
Yeah, you're the new kid on the block and they're trying to entice you into the system.
Exactly.
And then once you've been around for a while, then they're like, all right, now we're going to show you the real deal.
Yeah. Welcome to the grind.
Right.
Now you're just like everyone else.
So is that a deliberate strategy by Uber?
It's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
But it definitely seems suspicious, right?
It does seem kind of fishy.
Why would they give new drivers preferential treatment?
Right. Unless they're trying to hook them,
Exactly.
get them addicted to those early earnings.
Exactly.
And then, once they're hooked, then it's all right, now we're going to start taking a bigger cut.
Yeah. Now you got to work twice as hard for the same amount.
So is that what's really going on?
It's possible.
Or is it just a natural market phenomenon?
I mean, it could be that too.
Maybe there's just a surge in demand.
Right.
When a new driver joins a specific area, and then things kind of stabilize.
Exactly.
As more drivers come on board.
Right. Maybe they just need more drivers in that area initially.
Right. And then once they've got enough, they're like, all right, we're good.
We don't need to incentivize anyone else to come here. We got enough people fighting over these orders.
That's interesting food for thought for sure.
Definitely.
So, all right, let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about those drivers who are making bank.
Right.
What are they doing differently?
Yeah.
Is it just about location?
Location definitely plays a role.
Okay.
Are
they all just hanging out in, Beverly Hills or something?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're delivering to fancy restaurants.
Right.
where people are spending like hundreds of dollars on a meal,
Mm-hmm.
probably more likely to tip generously.
Right. You're not going to sweat a $5 tip
Exactly.
when you just dropped $500 on dinner.
Right.
So yeah, location probably matters.
But it's not just about picking a posh neighborhood.
Okay.
You also have to understand like local traffic patterns.
All right.
Avoid areas known for low tippers.
Like where?
Like one driver specifically mentioned avoiding university campuses.
Oh, yeah? College students.
They're always on a budget.
Always broke.
Yeah. So you're probably not going to get a great tip there.
Right.
And then there are like difficult deliveries,
What do you mean?
like gated communities,
Oh, yeah.
massive apartment complexes
Right.
where it takes you forever to find the right building, and then you got to like park and walk and all that.
Yeah, you're losing time.
Exactly.
So it's not just about the like dollar amount of the order.
Right.
It's about like the logistics of it.
Exactly. The logistics, the time it takes you,
Right.
and then there's the whole multi-apping thing.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
A lot of drivers swear by it.
So what is that exactly?
Basically, you're using multiple delivery apps at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So instead of just waiting for an order from Uber Eats,
Mm-hmm.
you're also signed into like DoorDash, Grubhub.
So you're like juggling multiple phones.
Yeah, pretty much. You got to be organized.
Wow.
But the potential payoff is huge.
So you're increasing your order volume
Exactly.
and minimizing downtime?
Exactly. You're always on the move.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, it takes practice, but it can really boost your earnings.
All right. I'm starting to see why some drivers are making so much more than others.
Yeah, it's all about strategy.
It's not just about like driving around
Right.
and hoping for the best.
You got to be smart about it.
You got to play the game.
Exactly. You got to hustle smart, not just hard.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. But we've only just scratched the surface of this Uber Eats deep dive.
Yeah.
In part 2, we're going to delve into even more practical tips and tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it as your Uber Eats driver's manual.
Your guide to success.
Exactly.
Okay, student.
We'll be right back.
Struggling to make money online? Most businesses fail because they're missing one key piece of the puzzle. This new system can help you earn up to $3,493 with no selling. And it all starts with a free webinar happening in just a few hours. Here's what you'll learn: the exact system that's generated over $23 million online and how to use it yourself. The 3 biggest reasons online businesses fail. How to activate 3 profit levers to start making real money. Don't miss this chance. Visit dollarsidehustle.com/no-selling to get started today.
Welcome back to Dollar Side Hustle. So in the last part, we were talking about, the honeymoon phase and
Right, all this.
algorithm and all that.
Yeah.
But now we got to get into like the real nitty gritty.
The driver's manual.
This driver's manual, like how do we actually make money doing this?
Yeah,
Give me the tips and tricks.
Right, like let's get
Yeah,
practical.
we're practical.
So one of the things that came up a lot, in the forums and stuff was order selection.
Okay.
It's not just about taking every order that comes your way.
Right. You got to be picky.
Exactly. You got to be strategic about it.
So what are we looking for?
Okay, well, one tip that I saw a lot was to prioritize those multi-item orders.
Like multiple things.
Yeah, so like instead of just delivering one pizza.
You're delivering like 5 pizzas and a bunch of sides and drinks.
Right.
And the thinking there is that those are more likely to be group orders.
Okay.
And groups tend to tip better.
Right, because it's like they're splitting the cost anyway.
Exactly. They're not
Yeah.
feeling the pinch as much.
Right, and they're probably just in a good mood because they're about to have a feast.
Yeah, exactly. They're excited about the food.
So yeah, multi-item orders, keep an eye out for those.
Definitely.
What else? Okay, so another thing is to pay attention to the restaurants themselves.
Okay.
Like some restaurants are known for being really slow.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't want to be stuck waiting around.
Right, because time is money.
Exactly. Time is money. You could be out there getting another order.
So how do you know which restaurants are fast and which ones are slow?
I mean, you kind of just learn over time.
Oh, okay.
You start to notice patterns.
Right.
Like, oh, this place always takes forever.
And then you avoid them.
Exactly.
Very smart.
And then speaking of time,
Yeah.
don't forget about those peak hours. Weekends, evenings, rainy days.
Right.
Those are your money-making windows.
People are lazy and hungry.
Exactly. They don't want to go out.
So yeah, that's when you want to be on the road.
Definitely maximize your hustle during those times.
Got it.
Okay, so now let's talk about minimizing that downtime.
Okay.
Remember, multi-apping.
Oh, yeah.
That's your secret weapon.
So how do we do it, like, practically?
Okay, so first of all, you got to choose your apps strategically.
Okay.
Like some apps work better in certain areas.
Yeah.
Some have different fee structures.
So it's like diversifying your delivery portfolio.
Exactly. You want to have a mix.
Okay.
And then once you've got your apps lined up,
Mm-hmm.
it's all about optimizing your route.
Okay.
You don't want to be like blindly accepting orders and zigzagging all over town.
Right.
You got to think like a chess player.
Oh, okay.
You're anticipating traffic patterns. You're avoiding those delivery black holes.
Like those gated communities
Like,
and those giant apartment complexes.
yeah, you want to try to group your orders in a way that makes sense.
It's like a logistical puzzle.
It is, but it's a fun puzzle.
Okay. I like puzzles.
Good.
All right. So we're being picky about orders. We're multi-apping. We're optimizing our routes.
Mm-hmm.
What about like the human element though?
Oh, yeah.
Like those interactions with the restaurant staff and the customers?
Right, you're not just a robot.
Yeah.
You got to have some social skills.
Okay.
So like be friendly, make eye contact,
Right.
even learn the names of the staff at your frequent haunts.
Oh, that's a good tip.
Yeah, build rapport.
Okay.
A friendly driver is a memorable driver.
Maybe they'll give you extra fries.
You never know.
All right. And what about the customers?
Okay, with customers, communication is key.
Okay.
Keep them updated on their order status.
Right.
Especially if there are delays.
Like, hey, I'm stuck in traffic, but I'm on my way.
Exactly. And when you arrive, be professional, be courteous.
Even if they're being jerks.
Even if they're being jerks.
Because we need those tips.
We need those tips.
Okay. Got it.
And speaking of tips.
Yeah. How do we maximize those?
Okay, well, one thing is to just personalize the experience a little bit.
Okay.
Like a simple, enjoy your meal or have a great night.
Right. Just be a human,
Exactly.
not a robot.
Right. And if you're feeling extra generous,
Yeah.
you could even offer a little something extra,
Like what?
like a mint or a piece of candy.
Oh, wow. That's going above and beyond.
It is, but it can make a difference.
Interesting.
It shows you care.
Okay.
So yeah, be friendly, be communicative, be safe.
Oh, yeah. Safety, that's important.
Very important.
Especially late at night.
Definitely always be aware of your surroundings.
So no delivering to, like, abandoned warehouses at 3 a.m.
Probably not a good idea.
Okay.
Trust your gut instinct. If something feels off, cancel the order.
Better safe than sorry.
Exactly.
And let someone know where you are.
Yes. Always
I hear you.
have a safety buddy.
Got it.
And don't forget about the car itself.
Oh.
Regular maintenance is crucial.
Right.
You don't want to break down in the middle of a delivery.
Yeah, that would be bad.
So keep up with those oil changes, tire rotations, all that good stuff.
Treat your car like the money-making machine that it is.
Exactly.
Okay. And speaking of money-making machines,
What about the most important one?
which is
Oh, yeah.
take care of yourself.
Okay.
Get enough rest. Eat well.
Right.
Manage your stress.
Right. It's a grind,
It is.
but it's got to be sustainable.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From like picking the right orders to multi-apping to customer interactions to self-care.
Mm-hmm.
But our Uber Eats deep dive isn't over yet.
No.
In part 3, we're going to tackle the often dreaded topic of taxes.
A fun part.
Everyone's favorite.
Stay tuned.
Stuck in a dead-end job and need a way to make extra cash? Businesses everywhere need help with their online presence. And you can earn $20 to $50 an hour writing social media posts, emails, and more. No experience? No problem. We'll match you with available jobs so you can start earning fast. Ready to kick off your online writing side hustle? Visit dollarsidehustle.com/writingjobs and get started today.
Welcome back to Dollar Side Hustle. We've been talking about, all the ins and outs of making money with Uber Eats.
The strategies, the tips, the tricks.
But now it's time to talk about the part that no one really wants to talk about.
The dreaded T word.
Taxes, exactly.
So why is it that taxes are like more complicated for gig workers
Right.
than they are for like, regular employees?
Well, I mean, when you're a regular employee, your employer withholds taxes from your paycheck, right?
Right.
Like you never even see that money go straight to the government.
Yeah, it's like taxes on autopilot.
Exactly, autopilot. But as an independent contractor, you're essentially running your own business.
Right.
So you're responsible for managing your own tax obligations.
So no more autopilot.
Nope.
We're in the driver's seat for our taxes too.
You are the captain of your own tax ship.
Oh boy. Okay. So what are the key things that we need to know?
Okay, so first and foremost, you'll need to pay self-employment taxes.
Self-employment taxes, what is that?
So this covers Social Security and Medicare,
Okay.
which are normally split between an employee and their employer.
Right.
But since you're your own employer,
Yeah.
you're on the hook for the whole thing.
This is like double the taxes.
Well, not exactly double, but it's definitely an added expense
Mm-hmm.
that you need to factor into your earnings.
Self-employment taxes.
Yeah.
Well,
You'll also need to make estimated tax payments throughout the year.
estimated tax payments. What does that mean?
So basically, you need to set aside a portion of your earnings
Okay.
and send it to the IRS every quarter.
Every quarter, that's like 4 times a year.
Yep.
Okay.
It's the government's way of making sure you're staying on top of your tax obligations.
So you don't end up with like a massive bill at the end of the year.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do we know like how much to set aside?
Right. So this is where it can get a little tricky,
Yeah.
but there are resources available to help.
Okay.
You can consult with a tax professional.
Like an accountant?
Exactly. Or you can use online tools and calculators
Okay.
that can estimate your tax liability based on your earnings and expenses.
So don't just guess.
No, don't just wing it.
Get some help.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about deductions?
Oh, yeah, deductions.
Are there any like specific deductions that gig workers can take advantage of?
Absolutely. This is where being organized and keeping good records really pays off.
Okay.
You can deduct eligible business expenses like mileage,
Okay.
vehicle maintenance tolls, parking fees, even a portion of your phone and internet costs
Oh, wow.
if you use them for business purposes.
So like those spreadsheets that our Vancouver driver friend was talking about?
Exactly. Those are going to come in handy.
All right, so track everything.
Crack everything.
Don't throw away those receipts.
Exactly. And don't forget about the potential deduction for a home office.
Oh, yeah.
If you're using part of your home for business purpose.
All right, so we're being organized. We're tracking everything. We're maximizing those deductions.
Yeah.
Any other like tax saving tips?
One final tip I would say is to consider setting up a separate bank account
Okay.
for your side hustle income and expenses.
So like a business bank account.
Exactly. It just makes things so much
You
easier.
take track of everything.
Exactly. And it'll make tax time a lot less stressful.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've talked about the earning potential, the strategies, the taxes. What are your like final thoughts for our aspiring Uber Eats entrepreneurs?
I think the biggest thing to remember is that success in the gig economy requires a combination of hustle and smart decision making.
Right.
You got to be willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
But you also got to be strategic about it.
You got to work smart, not just hard.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for joining us for this dollar side hustle deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you learned a thing or two about making money with Uber Eats.
Definitely.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world of side hustles. And be sure to check out those affiliate links in the episode description. They're a great way to support the channel. And your support helps us keep these deep dives coming. Until next time, happy hustling.